Hello everybody and welcome back to an all too important video right before the opening season start game for the Arizona Cardinals, explaining to you why in Phoenix, Arizona, or if you want to be a smart aleck, Glendale, Arizona, in February of 2023, the Arizona Cardinals will beat whoever the heck else plays in the AFC in their part of the Super Bowl. They will win the Super Bowl. You got to trust the plan. And, the source is trust me, bro. Now, you're going to get the most immaculate, amazing explanation you've ever heard for the Cardinals winning this season outright. And, a lot of people will give Kyler shit because, he choked against the Rams in 2021. Well, screw you. First of all, hater. Imagine not trusting the plan. Imagine not trusting the Heisman winning first overall pick of 2019. And people will make jokes calling him a little man, calling him a dwarf. Go fuck yourself, you freaking hater. Okay? Oh, he's 5'10". I want to see you. I want to see how tall you are, okay? If people are under 6 feet tall making fun of his height, go kill your... Look, listen. I'm kidding. Look, but in all seriousness, no. In all seriousness, wow, I can't even talk. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm just so humbled by Kyler's excellence as a athlete. I completely trust him with my life in regards to sports. In fact, I'm willing to start him in fantasy if I can. I will do anything for Kyler. Kyler Murray is that transitional talent, that guy that can play baseball. That he's really the Bo Jackson over time. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the point is still valid. Kyler Murray has all that it takes. I just finished rewatching the Titans versus Arizona Cardinals, the condensed version on NFL Plus, and guess what? Kyler Murray went like 38-13, I think, against the Titans. He completely demolished them. And it had a myriad of different things. You had QB rushes. You had short passing schemes. You had RPOs, option routes. You had long passes. You had several touchdowns. I think he had 4 touchdowns on that day and a lot of passing yards. And the point being is that the guy is completely the full package when it comes to quarterbacking. And again, people will make fun of his height. Will shut the fuck up. People will praise Russell Wilson, yet denigrate American patriots like Kyler Murray because he's an inch shorter. And that just technically does not make any sense, Is Russell Wilson being an inch taller than Kyler a good thing? Sure. But is it that much of a difference? Of course not. No, it isn't really. And, if height were that big of a deal, then how come you're not seeing Shaquille O'Neal and those type of phenotypes? How come you're not seeing Chet Holmgren or those other lanky white guys playing quarterback? If the height were that important for QB, how come there's not 7-foot NBA players converting to football if seeing over the field is that much of an issue? Of course, that isn't really the case. And while, yes, height is ideal, at maybe 6'5" or something for a quarterback, we can still manage with above 5'9", okay? And I say that as a guy who's 5'8", okay? So I'm going to stand up for my fellow manlet in chief. He is my anyway. I'm completely trusting in Kyler. And now let me get to the brass tacks as to why I believe in him. There's a lot of haters talking about how he choked in the playoffs. And I just got to tell you that he's not going to choke again. And he didn't really even choke in the last game, okay? He was perfect. He did perfectly fine. It was not his fault. He's a good boy. He's a sweet boy. And, again, all the people that are patronizing me, fuck you, because he is MVP future candidate. He was a leading candidate for the MVP in 2021 when the Cardinals went 7-0. And then, of course, he got injured, I believe, at the end of the Packers game in that season, actually, on the 8th game. And we lost on a fluke because of A.J. Green having the wrong communication error or whatever you want to call it. And so because of things that were not his fault, Kyler lost the 8-win streak. And that's truly horrible. And again, just to nag at you bitches that are talking about, he's gonna play a Call of Duty. Shut up. First of all, the people that are nagging about Kyler playing video games probably play video games themselves and have a job as well. So to say that you cannot multitask as a quarterback playing video games is preposterous, okay? And, how much film is he supposed to watch? Think about it. If watching film were that big of a difference, then how come the people that study the most film are not the best quarterbacks, okay? If it were that easy, then why not spend, 5 hours a day in your free time watching film? The point is that there's diminishing returns. So if Kyler is not really studious and he's that good of a quarterback already, just imagine how much talent he truly has. And, imagine how hard it is to be that short and to be that good of a quarterback. He's truly phenomenal talent. And, the reason why he's not 6'4" is not because of genetics. It's not because of his mom being Asian or anything. It's because if he were 6'4", it would be over. It would be literally over. If you had Lamar Jackson's body, it would be over. And anybody that is saying that Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray are ridiculous. There are words. They are not able to compute logically. Kyler is much better of a passer, and he's 4 inches shorter. Imagine if he were a tick faster, like like Lamar Jackson, or a better example would be Michael Vick, an American Patriot, by the way, dog respecter, by the way. If you had Michael Vick's legs and he had Lamar Jackson's height, then you would see the best quarterback, bar none, in the league. And I think that I'm looking at one actually right now on the screen. And the point being is that the guy, despite his disadvantages, however large they may be, ironically for a small guy like him, he's still transcendent and really good. And he's still a top 10 quarterback in virtually all lists that I look at. And in certain lists, he's like top 8 or 7. And, he's better than people like Derek Carr, who's garbage. I'm saying that to piss people off. I don't think he's garbage. Kirk Cousins, who's a perennial choker, who's boring, frankly. Discount Aaron Rodgers, by the way. And who else are we comparing him to, frankly? Dak Prescott, Dakota Prescott? Really? Is that it? Like, is he any good? Not really. And the point being is that, Kyler Murray can scramble for a touchdown. He can run off to the side, throw it cross-bodied and complete. And, people talk about, oh, Mahomes can run out of the pocket. Shut the fuck up. Kyler can do it way better. And he even does it with the ninja steps. And I know that he's half Korean. So, it all works together in tandem. It's a truly fantastic sort of lifestyle he leads. And, the play style, everything, it's with such finesse. It's truly, I would say orgasmic, but I don't want to be too vulgar, though I did say it on accident. And the point being is that the guy is truly awesome. And then when we're looking at the stats, you might think, oh, but in Madden, I get 5,000 yards to Tom Brady, and this guy only got 3,800. Well, shut up, firstly. Secondly, it's because he didn't play like 2 or 3 of the games. So odds are he would have gone like 4,200 yards had he played both games. He probably would have gone another like 5 or 6 touchdowns and maybe 1 or 2 more interceptions. But the point being is that, despite only playing 15 games or so, he still performed really well and was the 7th graded quarterback. And that's him without playing certain games. So imagine if he were there. And, again, people will give the Cardinals shit. Oh my God, they lost to the Panthers. It's like, well, yeah, so what? So what if they lost to the Panthers? Kyler Murray was not playing. So, I'll give him an excuse there. And, ultimately, it was awesome because when we lost to the Panthers, we have Cam Newton sniffing his own ass, being like, oh, I'm back. And then guess what? The fucker sucked the rest of the season for the most part because Cam Newton is washed. And Kyler just provoked him into looking like an ass. So, love you, Kyler, by the way. Secondly, we're looking at the other loss in the season that was really bad, and that was against the Lions. Now, here's the thing. I'm originally from Michigan, so I'm actually a Lions fan low-key. Of course, Kyler comes first. People say America first. I put Kyler first as well. We love Kyler. And so, Murray gang for life. And so when we're talking about Kyler Murray, gets my allegiance over the Lions. But at the same time, if the Lions win, we'll give him a pass. And if we remember the first game he ever played in 2019, we'll remember the fact that he tied that game against the Lions because the Lions are low-key kind of good against the Cardinals. I don't know why that is the case, but that was just a fluke. And, we saw that Kyler Murray kept up his winning streak in the football AT&T Stadium when he went against the Dallas Cowboys, and he felted the Cowboys. He destroyed them. And the fact is that, he got Michael Gallup to get an ACL sprain, which will make the NFC that much easier for the Cardinals. And, he's truly a chess master general when it comes to this. Fourth dimensional chess is something that he does in his sleep. We're talking about 5D chess. The guy's a true savant. And, we're going to be looking at the stats more in depth. We're going to be talking about his rookie season because while and look at the injury history. People will say, oh, Kyler might get injured. He's missed 2 games out of what looks to be 46 or 48, I suppose. So the guy has a phenomenal track record. He's going to be playing for an average of like 92% of the season at this rate. And, barring crazy stuff, he's going to be phenomenal, like the Eminem song from 2015. Look at his completion percentage, 64.4%. Pretty decent, actually, for a rookie. And then we're looking at 67.2 in 2020. And then we're looking at 69.2% in 2021. And again, that's like Aaron Rodgers level, Drew Brees level, high IQ white man throwing the ball level. Kyler Murray is a very smart Asian guy. He's a Blasian. He's a very smart guy. You're looking at a 69.2% completion percentage with an overall aggregate of 67%, which is truly phenomenal for a young quarterback such as his. You're seeing a market improvement every year, okay? So people that are saying, he won't get any better this year, shut the fuck up because he's been getting noticeably better every single season so far, as of the last 3. We're looking at the touchdowns. First season, he got 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So that's less than a 2-to-1 ratio, still decent for a rookie. Compare him to any other rookie this year, and he did much better in 2019. We're also looking at 2020. He had 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, to over 2-to-1. Perfect. Beautiful man. Then we're looking at 2021, where he played 2 less games than in 2020, and he still got all but 2 touchdowns there with 24, and he had 10 interceptions, which is 2 less than 2020. So over here, we're having a 2.4 TD to INT ratio, which is better than the 26 to 12 ratio over here in 2020 and 2019, obviously. So that being said, we're also going to be looking at the average yards per completion. We're looking at 6.9 for 2019, 7.1 for 2020, and then he takes a substantial leap to 7.9, which is extremely high, in my opinion, in 2020. 2 or 1, I guess. And then we're looking at the yards as well. The yards are 3,700 for 2019 when he played all the games, and then 3,900 for all the games that he played in 2020. And then when he only played 14, he got 37.8. So that's still really good. And that's with less attempts in 2021 than he had in the other 2 seasons. So per capita, he did really well. And I'll give him a pass. Now we're looking at the sack total. He got sacked approximately 31 times this year. And he also got sacked 27 times the year before that and 48 times in 2019. So more or less, he's been getting better over the long scheme of things in terms of avoiding sacks and all that. So we're really, truly trusting the plan here. Then we're also going to be looking at QBR. QBR also has been getting better, 57, 61, 63. So he's been getting noticeably better every year. He's a perfect man. We love him. So overall, very good track record. 70 touchdowns to 34 interceptions. That's a better ratio than Brett Favre, I believe. So again, already elite, probably Hall of Fame at this point. He's going to get there, and we're really trusting in that. Also, remember, Patrick Mahomes had a slump last year, most pointedly in the first half of the season. So what makes you think that Kyler, who normally does really well in the first half of the season, won't do well against a Patrick Mahomes team where he usually fucks up in the beginning of the season? And, for all of the, the Cardinals collapse in the second half of the season, well, think about it this way. The Cardinals are going to know this. And with hindsight, they're going to fix the problems. And, secondly, they're going to say, well, he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins in the first 6 weeks of the season. And it's like, well, if that's the case, then we're going to get a huge second wind by week 7, and we're going to get a big boost in the passing game. And we're going to, instead of starting fast and going out slow, we're probably going to start fast and end fast. And I'm being very optimistic because I love Kyler Murray, like I said. And so let's look over here. He's had rushing totals that are pretty impressive. It's hard to pull them up here, but the point is that he's a great man. And, he's awesome. We love him. Now, let's look at the postseason. He has 1 game under his belt. Over here, he has a completion percentage of 56%, which is rookie level. And, that's not, that's pretty bad. He had 137 yards, which is fucking terrible. He had an average of 4 yards per pass. He had 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He had 2 sacks. His QBR was 10. This was horrible, actually, now that I look at it. But if you remember the game, I was watching it live at work, actually. And from what I recall, the playoff game, I've seen 3 times since then in its totality. And what you see is that the injuries on the offensive line really got Kyler Murray frenzied. And you saw that he was panicking in the pocket, and the pocket was being eviscerated. And I even was watching it with a friend of mine, and you could tell that the offensive line was being melted like Swiss cheese with Aaron Donald. And let's not forget that Aaron Donald was trying to choke out Max Garcia because he's a savage bastard who's very punchable, Aaron Donald. He's a big bitch, okay? I hate Aaron Donald. He's a bitch. He's a bitch. He's a bitch. And I was glad to see him get injured against Russell Wilson in 2019. That was hilarious. Fuck you, Aaron Donald, you fucking jackass wannabe. I hate Aaron Donald. He's very, very, very annoying. Anyway, so AD was putting a lot of pressure on the O-line. And, they had Von Miller on their team too. So, Kyler was having no breaks. And again, I think that game was without DeAndre Hopkins. And that was without J.J. Watt, I think. Or at least he wasn't playing healthy. So the point being is that, the team was injured in a lot of vital areas. And, including the O-line, the passing game, and the defensive line. And so because of that, he suffered as a result. And beyond that, Kyler, overall was getting worked in because of the offensive line fucking up. And again, people will give him shit. Oh, well, that's still a choke. And it's like, well, if that's a choke, then did Patrick Mahomes choke when he lost and got felted by the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers in 2021? Obviously, that's not the case because the offensive line was really injured and he was getting pressured all day. So it's not really his fault that he lost. It's the same thing here. Kyler Murray, it was not his fault that he lost. He was obviously really trying. And it was a shaping moment in his life. He's probably more mature now. And, even if he is gaming on the side, he's clearly a better quarterback coming out of the other side of that game now that he has hindsight. And, people will say, well, how is he going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback if, how are the Cardinals going to do good this postseason if he sucked this last postseason? And it's like, well, secondly, let me say this. Matthew Stafford lost the first 3 playoff games he ever played, and then those subsequent 3 or 4 playoff games afterwards ended up in a Super Bowl. So the track record of the playoffs doesn't really matter too much in certain circumstances, okay? So with Kyler Murray, this 0-1 record will soon be rectified to like 3-1 or 4-1. And when you think about it, pay attention closely here. We're having the home field with a Super Bowl, something that rarely happens, okay? It's a very rare occurrence. And, it's happened 2 times in a row, back to back, last year and the year before for the Super Bowl, but that's mainly been a fluke. Before that, the last several decades, I don't think that's ever happened. So the point being is that, having the Super Bowl in the Glendale Arena, the State Farm Arena, is going to be huge for the Cardinals, a big boon in terms of having the adequate amount of fans there, and in regards to the home field advantage generally, playing on the turf or the Bermuda grass, I forget what it is exactly, but the point being is that, the Cardinals will have home field advantage, which is really nice. That'll probably increase their odds of winning the Super Bowl by another 15 to 20% once they get there. And all they need to make the playoffs, firstly, is a couple of different things. So first of all, they can go 9-8 and make the playoffs, or maybe 10-7, and they could do better than that. It's all depending on a myriad of different factors, whether that be injuries and whatnot. But the point being is that we have an NFC that is somewhat weak. We're looking at a division that is also somewhat turbulent. We saw the LA Rams get absolutely railroaded by the Bills. Thank you, Von Miller. Thank you, Josh Allen. So that's awesome to see. So the Rams are looking pretty rattled. Their O-line is looking worse than the Cardinals, quite frankly. And so because of that fact, I'm going to tell you right now that the Matthew Stafford-led Bozo Rams are probably not going to repeat this year. So they're not looking like that much of a struggle session for us. And then in regards to, the Seahawks, they're complete trash, and we're going to watch them. Trust the plan, bro. And then in regards to the San Francisco 49ers, they're somewhat of a wild card. But if you remember, the interior of the offensive line with certain retirements and certain draft moves has been completely devastated. And, teams like that and the Bucs have a weak interior offensive line when it comes to guard and center. So that's going to be poignant to point out. Sorry for repeating myself. And then the other thing is that, Trey Lance, his development is very key for them getting anywhere. So, odds are that they're going to be playing Jimmy Garoppolo if he doesn't do well. And, I'm not scared of Jimmy G, frankly, who choked against Patrick Mahomes in 2020 in the Super Bowl. So because of that fact, I'm not really scared of the division. It looks to me like the Rams are going to be weaker than they were last year. And because of that, we saw that we barely lost down the division title and home field advantage due to the fact that we choked at the end of the season. Obviously, that's overblown by haters, but the point being is that probably won't happen this time around. So, it's a very good chance that we do end up first in the division if we keep our momentum going forward throughout the rest of the season. And if that's the case, then we can have home field advantage against a shitty team. Let's say the Vikings, who choke, obviously, in the postseason, minus that one Stephon Diggs broken tackle that one time, like 4 years ago. It seems pretty good to me that we can beat the Vikings, let's say, or the Eagles, for example. We make the wild card. We beat them home field, of course. We love State Farm Arena. And then we go in the divisional round. Hopefully we go against the Cowboys, because it would just be so delicious to beat the Cowboys in Jerry World. Skip Bayless fucking seething. All the right people seething at us beating the Cowgirls. Home field, of course, by the way. And we beat them. And then we go to the NFC Championship. And who is it? Other than for the fact that it's going to be the fucking LA Rams, let's say, and it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals, home field, by the way. And then what's going to happen, bros? Well, what we're going to see is that we're going to notice that there's going to be this thing called Jalen Ramsey being a shell of his former self, playing in an inadequate defense with a pretty injured Rams team that has less depth at every position than the Cardinals do. And, let's say one of their players get injured. We're looking at Aaron Donald. What if he gets injured? The fucking season is over for these boys. We're looking at somebody like Bobby Wagner, who's kind of washed low-key, and they're fucked. We're going to be looking at their third wide receiver being Ben Skoranek. That could be a good possibility. We're looking at Allen Robinson, who's washed, as far as I know. Cooper Kupp, who could very well get injured. If that's the case, they're fucked. So, it takes a little bit for them to lose to us. Home field, NFC Championship, just like last year. But instead of the 49ers, we're going to be looking at the Arizona Cardinals beating the Rams, and then baby, we're going to the Super Bowl. And against who exactly? It could be any myriad of people. We could be looking at fuck it, any team. We'll beat them. We're gonna kick their ass, frankly. We could be looking at something like Patrick Mahomes, right? So we can have the Chiefs versus the Cardinals as a repeat of Week 1, where we will hopefully destroy them tomorrow. And I'm recording this September 10th. And we're probably going to win that Super Bowl because we have the home field advantage. We're looking at another situation where Patrick Mahomes is flustered in the second half, throws 2 interceptions. It's going to be really beautiful. J.J. Watt ends his career beautifully. Kyler Murray passes for like 3 touchdowns, rushes for 80 yards, passes for, let's say, 330 yards, QBR of like, or a QB rating of 120, something very nice, very beautiful, maybe 1 or fewer interceptions, just an immaculate game from an immaculate quarterback whose hands are really goated in the sauce. You have a guy who, despite all odds, overcame all adversity and became the Super Bowl champion at his home turf in his 4th season. What a great man. The shortest man to ever win a Super Bowl, in my opinion, as far as I know. And, it'll be so nice to see. And, hopefully when that happens and the pigs are flying, it'll be so nice to see, bros. Oh my gosh, what a turn on. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. This is how the Cardinals will and can win the Super Bowl in 2023 at home field. By the way, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all tonight, tomorrow, any day. Comment down below what you thought. If you didn't like the video, shut up. And, if you guys can't pick up on any sarcasm, then, you're just autistic. In which case, we might have something in common to a very limited extent. Anyways, guys, see y'all in the next one. I just want to extend the video to the point where it's 22 minutes flat, so it looks more aesthetically pleasing to my very, obtuse brain. Anyways, see y'all. Bye.